The United States added just 57,000 jobs in June, roughly half of what economists surveyed by Reuters expected. April and May were revised down by another 74,000. Yet unemployment fell to 4.2%, and job openings remained at 7.6 million. Those numbers seem to contradict one another. They don't. They describe a job market that is not collapsing through mass layoffs. It is freezing through weak hiring. And that distinction could change how you manage your career, your savings, and your financial risk. Here's why the headline numbers fail to capture what's actually happening. The unemployment rate is 4.2%. By historical standards, that's not alarming. The headlines say the labor market is cooling but resilient. And if you've been job hunting in 2026, you've probably had the disorienting experience of being told the market is fine, while the market does not feel fine at all. The job market isn't breaking down the way people imagine. Mass layoffs, companies going under, visible chaos. It's breaking down in a much quieter and more insidious way. And understanding the difference between those two things is the most important thing you can do for your finances and your career right now. Let's start with the actual mechanism. The clearest signal in 2026 isn't mass layoffs, it's slow hiring. Job openings in May 2026 held at 7.6 million. That sounds strong, but employers made only 5.2 million hires in the same month. Some advertised positions may be exploratory or repeatedly reposted. Others may simply be difficult to fill due to skill mismatch, budget uncertainty, or slow recruiting processes. Whatever the cause, the gap tells us that an opening on a website does not necessarily translate into an immediate hire. Hiring stalled while layoffs remained relatively low. Instead of eliminating workers all at once, many employers became more selective about replacing departures or adding new positions. The doors are open. Far fewer people are being let through. The June report makes this concrete. April's job numbers were revised down by 31,000. May's were revised down by 43,000. Together, those revisions erased 74,000 jobs from the previously reported April and May totals. Leisure and hospitality lost 61,000 positions. The unemployment rate fell slightly, but partly because labor force participation dropped from 61.8% to 61.5%, meaning fewer people were counted as participating in the job market at all. Some may have become discouraged, but retirement, schooling, caregiving, and demographics can all reduce participation. The headline improvement doesn't tell you which, and the quality of the jobs being added is its own story. A positive payroll number doesn't tell you whether the jobs are full-time, secure, well-paid, or located in the sectors where displaced workers have experience. About 4.7 million Americans were working part-time for economic reasons in June. People who wanted full-time work but could not obtain it or had their hours reduced. The economy is adding jobs, but the headline total alone does not tell you their hours, pay, stability, or suitability for the people searching. Now, here's the layer underneath all of that. Because the frozen hiring environment has a structural dimension that goes beyond geopolitics, beyond inflation, beyond the Fed. And it's the reason this job market feels different from previous slowdowns in a way that's hard to articulate. Before looking at specific companies, an important caveat: not every layoff described as AI-related was caused solely by AI. Companies are also correcting pandemic-era overhiring, responding to slower growth, cutting costs, and restructuring management. AI is clearly changing the economics of labor for some roles, but it is genuinely difficult to determine how many individual layoffs it directly caused versus how many were already coming, and AI became the stated reason. Amazon reduced its corporate workforce by approximately 16,000 roles as part of a broader effort to reduce organizational layers, while company leadership has also said AI should enable a leaner corporate workforce over time. Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff said in 2025 that the company had reduced its customer support workforce from roughly 9,000 to 5,000 as AI agents handled a growing share of the workload. These are not companies in financial distress. They are profitable companies increasing technology investment while reducing headcount in selected parts of their businesses. That does not prove a one-for-one replacement, but it shows where corporate priorities are moving. Technology company valuations and AI investment have remained strong, but that financial strength has not translated into equally strong hiring across the sector. Entry-level software development, customer support, recruiting, data processing, and routine analytical work are frequently identified as highly exposed to AI-assisted restructuring. Evidence of actual employment decline is strongest in some categories and less conclusive in others. Stanford's 2026 AI Index reports a nearly 20% employment decline since 2024 for software developers aged 22 to 25, the clearest data point we have on where the pressure is most concentrated so far. These roles share a common characteristic. They involve tasks that are structured and repeatable enough for AI to handle without the judgment, relationship management, or senior oversight that higher-level roles require. Those capabilities are not immune to AI, but they are currently more difficult to automate reliably and therefore remain more valuable. This creates a divide. Demand remains comparatively strong for specialized AI research, infrastructure, and senior technical talent, even as some entry-level and routine technical roles face weaker demand. The skills required for the strong side of that divide cannot be quickly acquired by the workers most exposed to the weak side. Geopolitical and macroeconomic uncertainty add another layer. Higher energy costs can weaken consumer purchasing power, raise inflation pressure, and make it harder for the Fed to support a slowing labor market. When businesses cannot predict demand, input costs, or interest rates, they become more cautious about adding permanent headcount. That caution compounds the structural pressure already visible in the hiring data. So what does this actually mean for you? Not just for your career, but for your finances specifically. A low hiring market changes the personal finance playbook in ways most people don't account for. Long-term unemployment has risen. 1.9 million people had been unemployed for at least 27 weeks in June, up 286,000 from a year earlier. That means replacing lost income may take significantly longer for a growing share of job seekers. An emergency fund becomes more important than it was in 2021, precisely because the window between losing income and replacing it has widened. Taking on large fixed debt, a car payment, a new lease, any recurring obligation, becomes riskier when job mobility is weak and switching employers is harder than it looks. And if you're considering leaving a job without another offer lined up, the opportunity cost is higher than it was when the market was moving fast. The labor market doesn't only determine whether you have a job, it determines how much financial risk you can safely carry. A market where you may still be employed, but find it much harder to move, negotiate, or replace income quickly, changes the math on every financial decision that depends on income stability. Do not assume waiting alone will restore the hiring environment of 2021. If much of your work is structured and repeatable, it is worth building complementary skills now: judgment, communication, domain expertise, client relationships, and the ability to work alongside and supervise AI-generated output. Technology can eliminate tasks while creating new responsibilities within the same occupation. The workers who navigate this best are the ones who understand which half of their job is at risk and which half isn't. The job market is not collapsing loudly. It is freezing quietly. Hiring is weak, job searches are lasting longer, and some entry-level white-collar work is being reshaped by AI at the same time that macroeconomic uncertainty makes companies more cautious about adding headcount. None of that means every job is disappearing. It means job security and job mobility are no longer the same thing. You may still have a job while finding it much harder to replace, and financially, that means your emergency fund, your fixed expenses, your debt load, and your career adaptability matter more than the unemployment headline suggests. 57,000 jobs, 4.2% unemployment, 7.6 million openings. The numbers don't contradict each other. They describe the same frozen market from three different angles.